What's up, guys? I wanted to have a quick conversation with you. Those of you watching me, ideally, some of you guys watch this because a lot of motherfuckers need it. Alright, so I was at Tim Hortons in the parking lot recording one of my videos, and I noticed that in the parking lot there was about 80 people hanging out. They had their seats out, like, you know, those like fishing seats or like camping seats. And they're just sitting and yapping. And all I'm thinking to myself is like, wow, most of these people are extremely ignorant. I know that for a fact because I've known these people all my life. Not those specifically, but this type of person. And then, which is also my biggest frustration, to be around ignorance. And then secondly, all I'm thinking is like, damn, you guys are really putting a lot of energy and time and even sometimes money into something with very limited returns. You know, you young guys, I'm 30 years old. Back in the day, people would go clubbing every weekend. They would spend a lot of time, energy, and money doing that to keep up with their friends because they felt like they were a part of something, of a group. And the reality is that like 99% of the time, that group is average. And I don't even understand why they celebrate. They're going to celebrate at a club, right? They're partying. What are you celebrating? There's nothing to celebrate. You can't celebrate yet. You celebrate when you do something like incredible. But what's the point of every weekend going out, spending money that you probably like, you're not investing any money, you're not doing anything smart. So they're celebrating. And friend group. You have a friend group, and because you're a part of it and because you like your friends, you get to know your friends, you think that they're great, they're really good people, or they're outstanding, or my one specific friend is able to do X. Maybe he's not, but he is. But the reality is, if those people and you are spending time together on almost every day or every weekend, that's all time that you're not allocating towards growing. I know I sound like a fucking boomer, okay? I get it. But the reality is this. Your friends are short-lived. No matter who you are, eventually you're gonna have to, stop spending as much time with your friend. Your girlfriend, your wife, your kids, your work, your parents, your family. It gets to be more important. Unless you want to be like that guy who that's 60 years old, works as a bartender, goes to see his other bartender friends, and they get wasted. And I've met these people. I've worked in restaurants. I can tell you that it's not a happy life. That it's a very painful life. So, what do I mean by allocating the energy into the right places with endless returns? Is like, let's say Fridays, which I love Fridays because back in the day I used to go hang out with my friends. Every Friday I have a sense of loneliness, like a despair, But instead of going out and distracting myself or numbing myself, I'm using it to plant new seeds, to grow, to learn. I'm learning things that will help me for my entire life. Two extremely valuable tools that come from the internet being so easy to access are ChatGPT and YouTube, or any AI, whatever AI you like. You go on YouTube, you can learn how anything works. You can study history, geography, engineering, economics, math, AI, tech, sports, exercise. And so there's a whole world available to you that someone like me, someone who's competitive, or someone who wants to do well in life is spending every single day using to their advantage. And they're learning how everything interconnects so that they can build something. And I'll get back to that after. So now, you have YouTube, which has unlimited knowledge of how the world works. And then if it gets too complicated, you have a sidekick called ChatGPT or AI or Claude or Gemini. And you can ask it, how the fuck does that work? Explain it to me like I'm 5 years old. If I had that shit when I was a kid, bro, the world would have been completely different. But that's okay, because I was a dumbass kid anyway. Anyway, so that's number one. You have endless knowledge available to you. In the medieval times, only the rich people, the nobles, and the priests knew how to read, and the peasants, like you and I, didn't have access to it. So we would have been stuck, fucking harvesting our entire life. Now we have the opportunity to build something, a skill, build a business. And online, you don't even have to be in person. Okay, so that's said. And then the other thing too is you could be exercising. I don't have money for the gym. I don't have a car to go to the gym. I don't have this, I don't have that. Anyone can work out at any time. You could do push-ups, squats, you could do yoga, you could do running. There's no excuse. So those are two things: unlimited knowledge, unlimited exercise that you can do at any moment, and then they compound and bring in a lot of value. Right now, you're a teenager or you're an older, like a younger adult, and people probably don't respect you that much. And that's because, unfortunately, you put certain people on a pedestal, you project certain things on people who don't deserve it and are not that great. Because at the end of the day, we're all humans. Even Leo Messi is just a normalized dude who just happened to have been born in the right place at the right time with the right ability. He's not a superhuman. Nobody is. But that being said, anyone like you and I can reach a level of superiority if we want to. That is, if we don't spend our time, partying, caring what friends think. All that time put to bettering yourself very slowly, but then suddenly will turn you into the version of you that you've always wanted to be. And if you want to learn more, all my videos are about this. My name's Noah Flamel, and I'll catch you later.